Hey everybody, how's it going? Pancheezey here, coming at you real quick with a small vlog talking about my experiences with Hurricane Matthew. So I live in the Charleston area, so Hurricane Matthew definitely hit us. Fortunately, it was only like a strong category 1, a weak category 2. But you know, it definitely hit us. The weekend was pretty rough. We didn't evacuate just because, based on the tropical storms we get, my apartment complex doesn't flood that bad during them. So we felt like as long as it was a category 2, we could kind of hunker down and just ride it out. And thankfully we did. But as you can see from the images there, it does look a lot worse than what it was. It was raining a lot. It was like raining sideways and stuff like that. But we did lose power on Friday night, which was probably the worst part about the entire weekend. I know that first world problems, I know for real. But we basically just chilled. We just hung out in the dark by candlelight, played our DSs, read comic books, and kind of just like laughed throughout the entire weekend. And you know, personally, I think that you just have to laugh about this kind of stuff, especially in the moment, because that kind of calms your nerves. You're not really riding off the high of nerves and like anxiety and stuff. And I feel like if you just make light of the situation, as long as it's not that serious enough for you to actually take it seriously, you'll be cool. And that's what we did all weekend. We pretty much just chilled. The worst part about the weekend, aside from the power going out, was the winds were pretty scary. You can see it kind of like did some damage to the roof here across the apartment way, and like the flooding wasn't so bad. Like we kind of got like some swampy conditions in my apartment complex, but you know, the drain pipes and stuff like that, they did their job. We stayed relatively dry during the entire thing. My apartment never got any water damage or anything like that, but the winds were pretty strong. You can see like the wind is like thrashing these trees around. Like we have some palm trees in our apartment complex as well as some regular oak trees and stuff, and they were kind of like blowing around. There was a fence that used to be right there, and it got blown like completely down, and that was probably the weirdest thing about it. You can see even right here, my friend over here, like the wind is just like, you know, just aggressively beating him up right here, him and his poor umbrella. But yeah, that was probably the worst part, was the wind, and like it just makes like the combination of the wind and the rain makes it look worse than it was. I know a lot of the national headlines were like all the stuff about Haiti and Florida and the storm surge, but here in my area, it honestly wasn't that bad. Here's my poor male gazebo that got blown over and toppled over, and you can see there was some definite damage here. Nothing like life-threatening or anything like that, but there was like some cosmetic damage. Like there's the fence and stuff that got toppled over. You can see some trees got uprooted, and you know, the storm is still going at this point. But right here is where the storm, like the wind is still going, but it stopped raining, which I thought was pretty odd. But you know, what are you gonna do? You can't really do much. But I think this is during the time of the weekend when the storm was like right up on us, but it stopped raining, which was kind of weird. It seemed like the most damage came overnight in the really early morning and stuff like that. Again, you can see my dumb gazebo right here that's like messed up and toppled over, but like some side paneling of the houses did get ripped up, and some trees did get ripped up along, you know, my apartment complex and stuff like that. And that was probably the worst of it, you know, in terms of like communal wise in the community. A lot of the power was out, so these officers came out and they directed traffic, which is really great of them. This tree particularly had a bunch of reinforcement around it. I remember there's like this like in cement and stuff like that, so for that to get ripped up was pretty wild. The storm surge kind of swept this car into a ditch right there. That really sucks, and that's just like that's like 1 block away from me. So you know, I'm really thankful for where my apartment is, and you know, thankfully we were okay. And you know, heart goes out to all those people that were actually truly affected by the hurricane with their homes and stuff like that. And you know, I'm just really thankful that we were able to ride it out during the weekend and make light of it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.